Good evening. Welcome to the Kent County Levy Court business meeting for Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. We're meeting at the Kent County Administrative Complex at 555 Bay Road, Dover, Delaware. We're in Levy Court Chambers, room 203. Before I actually open the business meeting, I'll turn the agenda over to the County Administrator to explain how those that want to join us by phone and or WebEx can do so. Mr. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. President. This meeting is being offered in person at 555 Bay Road, Dover, Delaware, in room 203. We're also making it available for people to join us via the internet through WebEx. Participants can either join us by computer or by telephone through the course of the meeting. There will be opportunities for public comments from those attending in person or online at the designated times. For those joining us by phone, press star 3, which will raise your electronic hand so our operator can identify you and bring you into the meeting. Pressing star 6 will mute and unmute your line. If you're on a computer, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the hand and microphone icons, and we ask that you use those at the appropriate time. We also ask that all comments from our guests be preceded by stating your name and address for the record. Any comments taken during our public hearing testimony will be sworn by our attorney. This meeting is being recorded and will follow all of the rules of procedures adopted by Levy Court, as well as Mason's Rules of Order. Mr. President, back to you.
Thank you. At this time, I'll call the business meeting to order. I'll ask Commissioner Angel to lead us in the invocation, followed by a Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Scott, and then a moment of silence for our troops and first responders, Commissioner Sweeney. All rise, please.
Heavenly Father, please help us to honor and respect others as we gather here tonight. Please bless us, guide us, and give us the wisdom in our deliberations. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to honor our military, law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, first responders, and medical staff who have lost their lives in the line of duty protecting our lives or our way of life. Please remember these individuals who died in the line of duty, as well as keeping their families in your thoughts and prayers as they deal with the loss of their loved ones. Police Officer Andres Vasquez Lasso from the Chicago Police Department, Illinois. Master Trooper James Bailey from the Indiana State Police, Indiana. Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith from the Herman Police Department in Missouri. And K-9 Lennon from the Baytown Police Department in Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sweeney. Can we have a roll call, please, to determine quorum?
Mr. Angel?
Present.
Mr. Hall?
Here.
Mr. Hertz?
Here.
Mrs. Maston?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Sweeney?
Here.
Mr. Pepper?
Here.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 present.
Thank you. We do have quorum. Need a motion for the adoption of this evening's agenda.
Motion to adopt
Second.
the agenda.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Masson, second by Commissioner Sweeney to adopt this evening's agenda. Unless I have any questions, can I have a roll call again, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. This evening's agenda has been adopted. Consent agenda 23-03. I need a motion for that also, please.
Move to approve consent agenda 2303.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Sweeney, second by Commissioner Angel to approve consent agenda 23-03. Unless there's any questions, can I have roll call again, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Consent agenda 23-03 has been approved by Levy Court. Introductions, Mr. Quayle, do we have introductions this evening?
Thank you, Mr. President. Evening, Commissioners. We do have 2 of the 6 new employees hired in February to be introduced tonight. The first will be introduced by the Kent County Sheriff, Norman Barlow, and the second will be introduced by Operations Supervisor David Whitney. Sheriff?
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Commissioners. I'd like to introduce Robert Daddio, was appointed as a Chief Deputy in the Sheriff's Office on February 13, 2023. Most recently, he retired from the Delaware State Police as a detective after 29 years. During his time with the State Police, he was a uniformed patrol officer, fugitive warrant officer, and worked in the criminalistics unit. Robert resides in Commissioner Scott's and Pepper's district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just
Welcome.
say thank you, and I'm honored to be here, and I thank the Levy Court for this opportunity. My wife Tracy accompanied me. The kids decided to stay home. As I said, I'm blessed. When I retired in February from the state police after 29 years, I was blessed to be able to do that for that period of time and serve the citizens. And I'm honored that Sheriff Barlow has the confidence in me to continue to serve the citizens and be his chief deputy.
Well, I know that what kind of job you did for Delaware State Police, and if you do the same job here, you'll have an outstanding career here.
I'm blessed, and I appreciate you saying that.
I'm real happy to see you here as chief deputy, and look forward to good things out of you. And Tracy, and what can I say? Couldn't keep him home. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'm honored.
Anybody else have anything to say?
Just welcome aboard and thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm Dave Whitney, the operations supervisor down at the plant. I'd like to take a moment of your time and introduce Bradley Wainwright. He's one of our newest hires. He comes to us with a level 1 wastewater license, started February 27th. He most recently worked at Viola Water and as a wastewater operator. Prior to that, he worked for Viola Industries. He has a lot of operating experience, different equipment. I believe he lives in Felton, which puts him in Commissioner Hertz's district. But we're certainly looking forward to having him on our team on the wastewater plant. So it's all you.
I just thank you for the opportunity for working with the county and having a career here. So I'm very happy. It's saving me a lot of money with all the traveling I did, going to Philly and New Jersey, and so I got the opportunity when I had my interview, and everything worked out well, and now I'm very happy. So I thank you for the opportunity.
Glad to have you here. You prefer Brad or Bradley?
Whatever you want to call me.
Hey, you, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. The treatment plant is one of the most important assets that Kent County has. And without that, our industry would dry up and go away. The air base would probably dry up and go away. And not saying anything about all the residents in Kent County that flow through there. So thank you, and hope you have a great career here.
Thank you.
Mr. Scott?
Welcome
Well, I guess
aboard.
I guess it's yours.
Welcome aboard, and the sewer treatment plant does fall under me, and I look forward to seeing you out there, and good luck in your new venture.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Good to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other introductions this evening? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, we're going to open right up with a public hearing. Commissioner Hertz, ordinance LC 23-02.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce ordinance LC 23-02, an ordinance amending Kent County Code, Volume 1, Chapter 180, by revising Article 2, definitions 180-05, definitions to add a definition by revising Article 3, regulations of sewer use, 180-10B, use of public sewers, B, discharge and pre-treatment prohibitations to amend the language by revising Article 3, regulations of sewer use, 180-12, industrial wastewater discharge permits. Number 1, to modify references from limits to loadings and to delete names of specific metals by revising 180 Attachment 1 to rename the title of Table 183-1 from Maximum Allowable Industrial Limits to Maximum Allowable Industrial Loadings, and to replace Table 180-3-1 in its entirety to show revised parameters and loadings.
Okay, Andy, I guess you're here to represent this ordinance?
Yes, sir. So this is for the public hearing to be conducted for the purpose of giving citizens of the county the opportunity to present testimony on the ordinance LC 2302 before Levy Court. Do you want me to go through the whole process? All right. All statements shall be made from one of the podiums at the front of the room. For record, please state your name and address. Copies of written statements or exhibits shall be presented to the clerk of the peace for inclusion in the record. After everyone has had the opportunity to speak, the hearing will be closed and Levy Court will take action as it deems appropriate. Levy Court's decision will be based upon the public hearing testimony and recommendations of the Kent County Regional Sewer Advisory Board. Ordinance LC 2302 has been prepared to address the results of the local limit study and EPA requirements. The revisions address definition changes, modifications to the table of maximum allowable industrial limits, and adds limits for oils. Staff and the Sewer Advisory Board support the adoption of the ordinance.
Any questions from Andy? Mr. Sweeney.
Thanks, sir. Andy, just to dumb this down, required by the EPA, we're just following their lead.
Based on the results of our study, yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. So as with all public hearings, we'll ask anyone who may be in the audience to come forward and give testimony as to why ordinance LC 23-02 should be approved. Anyone in the audience? Andy? Do you have anything further? Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the audience? See none? How about over the phone or the internet?
If there's anyone joining us online that would like to give comments on this item, please indicate by raising your electronic hand at this time. I see no hands raised at this time.
Thank you. Any questions from any of the commissioners? Any questions? If not, we'll close the public hearing. I ask for a motion.
Second. Make a motion to approve LC 23-02.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Hertz to approve ordinance LC 23-02, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Any questions on the motion? I don't see any. Can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes, reason stated by Commissioner Hertz.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes, reason stated.
Mr. Scott?
Yes, reason stated.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes, for the reason that we're following EPA recommendations.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes, for all reasons previously stated. Thank you.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals that ordinance LC 23-02 has been approved by Levy Court. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay. At this time, I have some appointments to be made for the new county administrators and boards and commissions. So I'll turn the gavel over to the vice president while I make the motion. Okay.
Mr. President, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. The Kent County Administrator serves on a number of state, trust, and community boards, commissions, and committees. Many request a specific authorization from Levy Court in order to represent the interest of the county and vote. The purpose of the motion below is to fully authorize the new county administrator to represent Kent County Levy Court. If you have any questions, please ask them after I make the motion here, please. I move to appoint County Administrator Kenneth C. Decker to represent Kent County to Levy Court as a trustee, voting member, or signatory on the following boards, committees, commissions, or responsibility. Oh, excuse me. The Delaware Valley Health Trust, Delaware Founders Insurance Trust, Delaware Prescription Opioid Settlement Distribution Commission, Delaware Native Species Commission, Dover Kent County MPO, Bay Beach Association, Kent Economic Partnership, Kent County Employees Retirement Program, Kent County Deferred Compensation Program as Plan Administrator, all other such groups listing the Kent County Administrator as a member by virtue or position, and further authorize Mr. Decker to vote on matters as appropriate in the best interest of Kent County. That's my motion.
Second.
Motion made by President Pepper, seconded by Commissioner Maston. Any further discussion? Mr. President, just one thing. DE Turf, would that fall in that last category?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Lori, can we have a vote, please?
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
There is something ironic about appointing him to the Delaware Native Species Commission when he's not a Delaware native, but my vote's yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Let the record show there is 7 in favor for our new county administrator to be overgrown with new endeavors. Thank you, sir. Mr. President, back to you.
Thank you. Mr. Angel, I have an action item from March 7th, 2023, Administration Committee meeting.
Okay, Mr. Decker, sir, under the ARPA, or Mr. Quayla?
Thank you, Commissioner. Obviously, still cleaning up a couple of items from my short tenure, and one of these were the final prioritization of ARPA funds. As you recall, over the last couple of months, you've been meeting on this issue, and at your last meeting, you formalized or reached consensus on how you wanted to allocate those remaining funds. In addition, we also discussed a motion which would allow staff to develop procedures and rules and utilize those in the process, to also follow the federal procurement rules for the CCI, the construction funds, and to be able to allow staff to reallocate residual funds if a project doesn't spend all of it, but another one does within the package of funds. They could be reallocated as well by staff, so that all the funds can conceivably be spent, encumbered, and then spent before the deadline. Back to you, Mr. Angel.
Thank you. Any commissioner comments? I'll make one because as you know, the FOP has been one of my things I've been pushing for ever since I was in Washington when I learned of this. And they don't qualify for the capital portion. I understand that. But we almost lost them with, they still had to pay sewer, they still had to pay rent, they still had to pay electric and like everybody else. And one of the things I learned in Washington when this came up was we were supposed to help give people a chance to get back up and running again. And even though they may not qualify for this program, I think they might have missed it on the other program under which one of the things I did not know and just found out was they are a 501c8, which does not qualify under the government program, which nobody said anything about that. So we didn't get that till just recently, after all this time. So I just wanted to get on record that I'm a little miffed about that, but because they did get hurt and we almost lost that building and that staff. So other than that, any further questions? Yes, Ms. Ma'am.
Previously, I'd asked under item 2, affordable housing improvement, if we would be agreeable out of that $1 million to perhaps consider assigning $300,000 to the planning group in order to go above and beyond what the community block grant money does, because there are areas where mobile homes need to be replaced because they're really not habitable, as well as other homes that can be upgraded in order to give our people in Kent County maybe a better, safer place to live. So I just want to make sure, as you say, I just want to go on record asking for that $300,000.
I remember it, yes. Mr. Quinn.
And staff will be back, Commissioner Maston, to ask you exactly how you want to spend the entire $1 million, and we're aware of that very specific amount you want to allocate that way. And we'll also come back with other allocations for the rest of the funds.
Anybody else? Okay, I move to allocate remaining funds from under Kent County ARPA SLFRF award in the amounts of $3,973,754 with the county's $10 million revenue loss election as presented to purchase a mobile command center and to construct a paramedic substation, and $1,752,532 of general SLFRF funds as follows: $749,284 for eligible county employee premium pay.
Commissioner Angel, that was $479,000.
I'm sorry, $479,000. Thank you. Eligible county employee premium pay, $1 million for affordable housing, and $273,248 to fund formal job training for an additional 3 to 5 paramedic trainees. I further move to create a general nonprofit program expanding the use of $1 million of the previous committed funding for civic associations and reallocating any unused funds for the nonprofit program as presented, to authorize Kent County staff to reallocate residual funds within current commitments as necessary if eligible, to authorize exclusive use of federal procurement rules pursuant to 2 CFR 200 for SLFRF, funding recipients for capital construction improvements, CCI, and to authorize staff to develop and utilize written guidelines and procedures for administration of SLFRF funds.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Scott. Any questions on the motion? I don't see any. We did have a couple of previous comments. I don't see any questions. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals the motion for the ARPA prioritization has been approved.
Thank you, commissioners, and have a happy St. Patrick's Day on Friday.
Thank you, Al. Resolution 3978, Commissioner Angel.
Mr. Decker, is this from you, sir, or you go back to Mr. Quayla on the opioid?
I'm just wondering if this is the only board and commission I haven't been appointed to yet, so.
Mr. Quayla, you want to take it, sir?
Okay. Much like the other topic, you may recall you had a lengthy presentation by our good friends from the Department of Justice, as well as the attorney representing the county and interest in the prescription opioid settlement for five new organizations, including Walmart and some pharmacies and a couple of manufacturers. This is a resolution that was requested from the DOJ to give direction on how to finalize this settlement. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Any questions? Any questions from commissioners? Okay. Seeing none, this is a resolution, so it does need a vote. Resolution 3978. It's not a public hearing, but it does need a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 3978, authorizing Kent County participation in the 5 national settlement agreements against certain distributors and manufacturers of opioid pharmaceutical drugs, specifically Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Teva, Algen, and further authorize Levy Court Attorney Craig T. Ellison to represent and sign any and all requirement documents related to this matter on behalf of Kent County Levy Court.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Maston. Any commissioners have any questions? I don't see any. Lori, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals Resolution 3978 has been approved by Kent County Levy Court. Commissioner Hertz, you have one introduction there.
Yes. I'd like to introduce of the ordinance LC 23-06, swimming pool barriers, an ordinance to amend Kent County Code, Volume 2, Chapter 105, building construction, as amended by revising Article 1, General Provisions, 105-1, General Provisions, Applicable Regulations, Item D, swimming pools and spas, in order to prohibit the use of powered safety covers in lieu of fencing as a safety barrier restricting entry into areas having swimming pools. For public hearing on Tuesday, April 25th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Any questions?
Thank you for the introduction. Mrs. Maston, you've got an introduction of ordinance LC 23-04, zoning.
Okay, introduction. C-2304 zoning. An ordinance to amend Kent County Code, Volume 2, Chapter 205, zoning as amended by revising Article 2, definitions, Article 3, districts and district maps, Article 4, general provisions, Article 26A, supplementary regulations, Article 29, administration and enforcement, Article 30, legal status and effective date, and Appendix E, building height and roof styles, to delete the definition of cellar and basement graphic, deleting in their entirety Article 5, AC, Agricultural Conservation District, Article 6, AR, Agriculture Residential District, Article 7, RS1, Single Family Residential District, Article 8, RS5, Medium Density Residential District, Article 9, RM, Multifamily Residential District, Article 10, RMH, Residential Manufactured Home District, Article 11, BN, Neighborhood Business District, Article 12, BN1, Neighborhood Business District, Article 13, BG, General Business District, Article 13A, OC Office, Office Complex District. Article 14, IL Limited Industrial District. Article 15, IG General Industrial District. Article 21, Conditional Uses. Article 22, Home Occupations. Article 23, Emergency Provisions. Attachment 1, Matrix AC. Attachment 2, Matrix AR. Attachment 3, Commercial. Attachment 4, Matrix RM. Attachment 5, Matrix RMH. Attachment 6, RS1. Attachment 7, Figure 6-1, Attachment 15, Appendix H, and adding a new Article 5, Permitted Uses, Article 6, Conditions of Approval, and Article 7, Area and Bulk Requirements to recognize the chapter, eliminate the BN1 zoning district, delete the Coastal Zone Protection Overlay, establish revised permitted and conditional uses, revise the conditions of approval for various usage, and establish new and revised area and bulk regulations for public hearing on Tuesday, April 25th, 2023 at 7 p.m.
Thank you for the introduction. I missed part of that. Can you read that again? I was going to ask you to read that again.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
I just want to know what room in number A is.
Mr. Lyson, I'm not aware of any executive session this evening, correct?
Repeat that.
Do we have any executive session this evening?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And Commissioner Angel, I need your motion number 2, please.
Number 2. Move to go into executive session immediately following the committee meetings on March 21st, 2023 for preliminary discussion on site acquisition for publicly funded capital improvement legal strategy, sessions regarding collective bargaining or pending or potential litigation, and personnel matters pursuant to 29 Del Code 10004 B2, 4, and 9.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Any questions on the motion? I don't see or hear any. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals the motion passed. Any information items from the commissioners? Any information items? I don't see any. Oh, Commissioner Angel?
Yes, I was invited to Maryland to share with the state for the tornado and flooding that happened in Wilmington and the tornado that happened down here in the 3 areas we got hit. And I was on the panel just to let them know. And as I was telling them that we're going to be looking into disaster planning coming up, we have some people that may be wanting to join us on the 21st. So it was very informative. I learned a little bit too about keeping your documents up. If you're in a flooded area, don't keep it in the basement and in a file or in a safe deposit box. Keep them in the attic, high level, so that and keep copies of everything, because some people lose everything when they're hit. So if it's a tornado, it's a different story. So all I can say is keep multiples around somewhere where you can find them when you need them. So anyway, it was a very great discussion. I was there for about 2.5 hours, and I was reunited with the Rubicon people that I helped when they were here in Dover, and had some great stories afterwards we discussed too. So great group of people. Glad I could help. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other informational items? Commissioner Scott?
Just wanted to remind everyone of the banquet, the benefit next Friday evening for the paramedic. It's going to be March 24th at 7 p.m.
All right. Any other commissioner information items? Public comments. Any public comments this evening? Any public comments? Any commissioner comments? Commissioner Sweeney?
Thank you, sir. 2 comments. On Saturday night, I was able to attend a murder mystery at Loblolly Acres in Viola. And I just want to share that Cheryl Epps and her daughter Angela have quietly made that farm, which used to be a working farm, into quite an economic development platform for King County. She's got a couple concerts and ballet scheduled there this coming summer. So if you get a chance, go see Mike Hines in The Look or Love Seed Mama Jump. Second thing is, Mr. County Administrator, when I finish my memoirs, I want to put you on paper retainer right now to do the audiobook for me.
All right, any other commissioner comments? Any other commissioner comments? If not, I need a motion to adjourn to the workshops immediately following, from which we will not be returning.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Any questions? All in favor, aye? Any opposed? We will be adjourning to the workshops in the caucus room, and we will not be returning here.